going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Superpower Review. I'm your host, Kevin Videnia, and today we're going to be talking about the big news that hit yesterday, which is Disney buying out 20th Century Fox for $52.4 billion. Ouch, that's a big price tag. Today's guest is everybody's favorite Canadian geek, Chad Pilon. What's up, Chad?
What's up, Kevin? What's up?
Nothing much, man. Dude, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane, okay? This is good news, but man, $52.4 billion. That is a huge price tag for some property.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And it's not as much as it could have been because they were estimated at a value, I think, between $60 and $70 billion.
Disney is taking over the world.
Yeah, Mars and all the other planets are next.
Mars, Jupiter, Disney's going to own it soon.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's a lot of money. And us, me and you and everybody else we know being comic fans, it's great news, especially since Kevin Feige came out last night on Twitter or wherever he said, we have plans of bringing the Fantastic Four back. We're going to bring X-Men into the MCU. We're going to bring basically everybody together. And personally, what I like, and if you were a big fan of Logan and Deadpool, he said, no, we're going to keep the darker movies as like a separate branch. They'll be included in the MCU, but when they do their standalone movies, they will still be rated R, which I like because I don't want them to Disney-fy those characters that need to be a little more violent and gory.
We don't want that.
Especially with Deadpool, he's a mouthpiece. You can't really have his kind of humor in, an Avengers PG-13 or PG movie that 8-year-olds are going to see.
Man, my guest today just hit the floor and just started running.
Well, no, I'm fat, so just kind of roll. It's easier.
Yeah, it's already been confirmed by Disney CEO Bob Iger that movies like Deadpool and Wolverine or Logan, if they're doing anything with Wolverine standalone movies again, that they will not be changed. They will stay rated R.
Yeah, that's good. I would love them, even though we just had Logan is basically Old Man Logan as much as they could. But now that they own it, that's all I want to see now. Do Old Man Logan. Now that you own it, wait like a year or two or recast Wolverine or use a different actor, and we could actually see Old Man Logan. We could see Hawkeye and the Hulk gang. And it would be amazing if they redid that. Yeah,
the possibilities are incredible now because, obviously with Disney buying Fox, Marvel gets back Fantastic Four, they get the X-Men, they get Deadpool. So the possibilities are high. So do you think that we will be definitely seeing some of these characters in Phase 4 of the MCU?
I think we're definitely going to see a lot of them. I'm hoping they do the smart thing like they did with Spider-Man Homecoming and don't do the original origin, because we never see him get bit by the spider, right? Yeah. Everybody knows that origin story. Just like we don't need to see the Fantastic Four origin story anymore.
No, we don't.
X-Men, none of them. I could see them taking one of those properties and maybe doing a Netflix show with it and seeing how it goes. Just because they're having all their Netflix except Iron Fist are doing great. So they might say, well, let's just try a show, because I would personally like to see Wolverine. I think that would be because the history. Would you like to
see a Wolverine Netflix series?
I'm not saying I'd rather it than a movie, but I'm saying you could do it because as a character, he's been around since the late 1800s. So you could have, and he's got such a crazy story with all his enemies and all his history of being with the Avengers and the X-Men and Captain in World War II. You could have like 7 or 8 seasons easily of great storytelling. And he's a character which could have his, like even the Punisher, you could have him in his own show, have him pop into an X-Men movie, have him in his own show, have him pop into an Avengers movie, but not just him, even the X-Men, like they're doing right now with The Gifted on TV. I've only watched like one episode, but it looks really good. You could do that, have a TV show, and then if you want them in for 5 minutes of a movie, take them, or do whatever. It's just the world's full of possibilities now.
It really is. There's a bunch of possibilities. I mean, we could be, if they were to pick up the pace on things. We could easily see the Fantastic Four and maybe in another Infinity War movie installment, possibly, no?
I don't think they're going to be Infinity War just simply because the Russo brothers have already laid all the groundwork. Now they could decide to maybe give a scene or two special, like film it just for the movie, that maybe shows them show up at the end or mentions them.
Even that would be cool. You know what I mean? That would get everybody so excited, like, yeah!
Yeah.
Even though I'm not really a big fan of the Fantastic Four. I think I've said this in the past, but...
Yeah. But again, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I said before, I wasn't a fan of them in the movies. I didn't care about the comics, but the movies I like. So now that Disney has them, and people can hate on Disney and say this or that, but Kevin Feige, we were just saying off air, every other movie they make makes $1 billion, so they know what they're doing. So I think he'll sit down once everything's finalized. They'll sit down and say, "Okay, what's your plan? What do we want to do with it? How do we want to introduce them? Are we going to have like phase 7, 8, 9, 10, like what the future is after the Infinity War movies?" Because everything I've read says one of either the Time Stone or something is going to reset the MCU because they need to recast a bunch of actors who are getting older and their contracts are going out. So that might be the time to introduce these other characters. And it's crazy what's going to happen.
Like we just said, like I said on a previous episode, we already know that Chris Hemsworth already doesn't want to be Thor anymore. Robert Downey Jr. has already admitted that he doesn't want to be Iron Man anymore, and Chris Evans' contract is up soon. So if we're going to bring everybody together, we do have to recast some new characters. Because, I would hate to see all this be happening now and not see some characters interact with each other. I feel like we need some parts where some characters do interact with each other, and I think that will make us geek out and just be like, yes, like it finally happened, like Wolverine. We have that famous like Mike Zeck cover with Captain America fighting Wolverine. Like, how awesome would that be to see? Or, I have my Hulk 340 in the back of me, and how awesome would that be to see Wolverine interact with the Hulk?
That would be amazing.
It would be amazing. These are the things that the fans really want to see, and these are some possibilities that could, potentially happen now with Disney buying Fox now.
Yeah, definitely, and it's all the things we want to see, all the storylines we wanted to see, and especially with, like you say, Wolverine, and all these actors say, "Oh, I'm not going to do it." And granted, like Downey's over 50. I think Hugh Jackman's 50 now. But you know what? Daniel Craig wasn't going to do another James Bond until Fox and MGM backed up a dump truck full of money into his driveway and said, "Are you sure we can't come back for one?" And he was like, "Okay." That's a lot of zeros behind in that check. So it depends, though. If they come back, if Kevin Feige, now that he owns it, because I don't think he ever, they didn't have meetings. You know what I mean? Fox and those, they don't have meetings with actors who are under contract for another studio. And now that they own the rights, Feige could literally bring in Hugh Jackman and say, "Look, Hugh, I know you said you don't want to do another one, but what would it take? What would, here's a blank piece of paper. What would it take for you? Because the fans want to see Hulk and Wolverine fight. You've been Wolverine for almost 20 years. What would it take for you to come back for one movie? Just to let us have that scene that everybody wants. What do you want?"
I know. I know this is the big question that everybody's been speculating now that this deal has happened. Is Hugh Jackman going to come back to play another part as Wolverine?
Yeah. He said he wasn't, but
he said that he isn't. He already said that. To be quite honest, if we're going to see a Wolverine, trust me, I would love to see Hugh Jackman come back to play as the Wolverine. I really would. He's the only Wolverine to me. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think the MCU would do that, because I think the MCU needs to have their own Wolverine. Hugh Jackman was Fox's Wolverine. Now I think the MCU needs to have their own Wolverine. No,
definitely, and that is a good point. And I don't care what they do. I just want to see that fight scene. I would love it to be Hugh Jackman, but I just want to see it. Like, how? Do you remember? I just watched it last night. Do you remember Civil War? How near the end when Tony and Captain are fighting, and they do that slow motion where he goes to blast him and Cap has his shield, and it's like, how awesome would it be to see that cover behind you in a slow motion? Wolverine jumping at the Hulk with, it doesn't even have to be Wendigo in the background either. It could be someone else. But how awesome. Exactly. If we had either one of those moments,
these moments would be great.
People would need a change of clothes to go to the theater, because if we saw those on the screen, that would be amazing.
They would be amazing. If we saw moments like Hulk 181, this is the closest thing I'll ever get to a Hulk 181 is this tin sign. But if we had shots, like this, or even a moment like this, I would be super excited. I just want to get off topic now that I have this in my hands. If you don't have a copy of Incredible Hulk 340, you have to pick it up, because it is one of my favorite comic book battles in history. I love this. But okay, off topic. Sorry, but it's just
you could afford a 181. You just got to sell one of your 17,000 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Yes, maybe.
You're holding those things on to like they're stock options. Like the more you have, the more you own. Like,
I just sometimes I see a comic and I just go, do I want that or do I want another Spider-Man 300? Off topic, but anywho, I would love to see moments like this happen on movies. I not only do I want to see, I need to see these moments.
Yeah, and I think especially, and like we were talking about, like I said, The Gifted, that's the X-Men show. You don't have to do a TV show. But what I'd love to see them do in the movies is like when Jim Lee, when they redid the X-Men in the early 90s, do that like for a movie. Show them like on Asteroid M with Magneto or, Omega Red. Like how awesome would it be to see that guy?
Wow, I think we're just referring to every single comic I have on on the shelves today.
That was unintentional, but I'm just saying it opens up now because again, now that they own everything, nothing's out of the picture. They don't have to, like with Logan, they don't have to worry about licensing. They own all their own properties back. So if someone says, "Hey Kevin, can we do Avengers versus X-Men?" Okay, give me 4 months and bring back a script and we'll see where we can go with it. There's no, can we borrow an actor? Can we borrow Spider-Man? Can we do this? No. We now own everything. We can do what we want. Nobody tell us what to do. And I think it's going to be really interesting. And like your boss said off air, I'm sure we'll probably get some crappy movies because they just can't seem to do Fantastic Four right. But again, we'll get so much better quality movies along with it. They're just...
Listen, with the
amazing.
Fantastic Four, okay, I've said this maybe 2 times on the show. The Fantastic Four can't keep up with the 21st century, okay? The Fantastic Four was cool in the 60s, in the 60s when it came out, the mid 60s, but it's just not cool anymore. Heroes like the Fantastic Four, I just don't feel like can live in the 21st century. That's just my opinion. I think the Fantastic Four is probably one of the lamest Marvel superhero teams that ever existed.
Well, I think they can. I think they just need the right director, the right actors, the right writers. They definitely need a reboot. They definitely need a hard reimagining of what we think. Because Human Torch is a dude on fire who flies. That's cool. You got the Hulk, or the Thing, that's basically an orange, smaller version of the Hulk.
Yeah.
There's cool things you can do, but anyways, I'm just using them as an example because they're like the first family of comics.
Well, one of the most exciting things too is that the potential of maybe, right now we're going to have Thanos in this Infinity War movie. What if we do an Avengers movie with Galactus coming in? That could be really cool. That would be amazing.
God, that'd be amazing.
That would be super, super cool. And then, getting everyone together. I know we're already having a lot of characters in this Infinity War movie.
Yeah.
But just imagine with all that we have now, going up against Galactus. It would just be crazy. It would be amazing.
Yeah, I know in Infinity War they're saying that there's going to be one scene, not continuous, but there's going to be a bits and pieces where there's some like 36 characters on the screen.
Yeah.
There's a few shots where it's like literally every Marvel character we've seen so far is going to be on the screen fighting Thanos.
That's amazing.
Which will be, like we're living in a geek renaissance right now.
That's everyone, every nerd in the theater's jaw is going to be like.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're just going to like shovel in popcorn like.
Oh yeah, it's just, and again, and this is what DC should take away from this is they've been doing it for 10 years now. They didn't think, okay, we're gonna make 2 movies and then we're gonna throw a huge movie at them and everyone's gonna love it. They've been building towards it since 2008.
Yeah.
And now it's only gonna get better. And it's not like every movie is gonna be like this. They're doing these 2 movies. And then they'll branch out again and they'll have that movie and then another event that they'll build up to for several years because that's how you make the money. You get them,
I saw a really cool thing too, and I know we're bringing up Wolverine a lot, but it's just one of the most exciting characters in my opinion. I love Wolverine. Wolverine's one of my top favorite Marvel characters. I saw something really cool on Instagram today. Someone obviously photoshopped, had Iron Man, Doctor Strange, some other character, I forgot who it was, but just pretty much showing like Doctor Strange opening up a portal, and it was Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and in the portal, showing like they're bringing him in. Even something like that could be really cool if they did something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, again, like the possibilities are endless, and I'm sure. Trust me, I guarantee there are teams of brainy people at Disney in black rooms out on the back 40 of the lot, just come back in 6 months, bring us some scripts.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're just brainstorming away. Or it could do this, we could do that, could do this. Let me just ask you something real quick. I just for fun, jotted a couple possibilities. Let me see what you think. Rather if it was a scene or a movie, I have 3 choices. Would you like to see the Avengers versus the X-Men, Hulk versus Wolverine, or a Deadpool and Spider-Man team up?
Of course, I have to say Hulk and Wolverine. I don't care. I'm not a huge Avengers or X-Men fan, so that one doesn't really get me going. I think Deadpool and Wolverine would be a far better movie than Deadpool and Spider-Man. But if I could have anything, I would love to see Hulk and Wolverine fight, because we were denied it for so long, and now that they own the rights to it.
So pretty much like a live action movie of the animated movie. Is that what would you like to see?
Well, see, again, it all depends now, because now that they own the properties, in the comics, right, Winter Soldier kills Wolverine's wife. So you could have like Wolverine wants to go kill Winter Soldier, and like Steve says, hey, Banner, go help him out. You got to go help Winter Soldier. This dude's after him. And that's how they fight. You don't necessarily have to do it like the comics.
Right.
You could do it where, it's just so awesome. There's so many possibilities. I'm like geeking out right now. I'm going to have a spasm. But, yeah, exactly. It'll take a while, though. I don't think especially with Wolverine, because they have to recast him, and it's going to be a process. They went, if you remember, I was only a kid when it was happening, when they were first doing it. I was 18 or 17 or 18. When it took them 3 years to cast that X-Men movie. Because I remember, because they were going to do it in my hometown originally, where I'm from, up farther north of where I am now. And for years, it took them years to finally figure out what cast they wanted for the X-Men movie. And it's going to do the same thing now, because if they're going to go full throttle like they did with Avengers and all these other properties they have back now, they're not going to half-ass it. They're not going to say, oh, well, whatever, who's hot right now. No.
Yeah.
They're very good at taking actors who aren't well-known or who have been in a few things and, making stars out of them. Because Chris Pratt, before he did Guardians, you didn't know who Chris Pratt was unless you were a fan of Parks and Rec.
It's true.
And now he's the face of Jurassic World. He's the face of Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a high-ticket item in any movies he's put on. So they're going to want that same thing. They're going to do that same process with all their new properties. They're not going to skip and skimp and do everything half-assed. They will sit down and do it right. And we, the fans, I think, will love them for it, because they'll do right by us, which they have always.
Right.
Like every Marvel movie hasn't been great, but they've all been good, and they've all stuck to pretty much the source material for the most part. And they've done it right, and they've built towards it. So it's not going to be, they're not going to pull a DC and just try to throw a bunch of crap at us and hope that we like it. They'll take their time, and like they usually do. So
if you were to pick somebody off the top of your head, who would you pick for Wolverine?
Oh, see, it's tough, because Wolverine, I'm going to comic geek out here for a second. He's people who don't know, Wolverine's been almost 200 years old. But he only started not aging in his early 30s. So you need an actor who can look like Gruffy if he has a beard or has long hair, but he's got to also look young. So my buddy laughed at me when I said this, because if they want to go more to the comics, Zac Efron. I know it's going to sound dumb. But look, if you look at his movies, he can get ripped like Hugh Jackman. He's only 30 years old, so you can get good 15, 20 years out of him. He actually can act. He's given a good script. He's not just Mr. High School Musical. He has he's done more physical roles. Or I was thinking that's Scott Eastwood, but I don't know if he's going to be tied up in Suicide Squad.
All right, hold on. I got to put my foot down on this one. I'm rolling up my sleeves.
And he's also short. He's only 5'4", so he's more towards the actual comic height of Wolverine. Hugh Jackman's 6'2", and that's what I hope. Before you go, that's what I hope Marvel. I hope that Marvel does that with him. I hope they make him a shorter character like he is in the comics.
You know what?
And not,
when it came to with height, I really didn't care. I mean, I know Hugh Jackman
I didn't care, but
yeah, I know. Well, I remember a lot of people like being pissed off because Hugh Jackman was a tall guy, and then they tried to make him whatever. Beside the fact, but Zac Efron.
Hey man, people laughed at Chris Pratt for Star-Lord. He was a fat chunky ginger on Parks and Rec, and then he got a six-pack, and women were ooh goo goo aga over him.
Listen, I'm not even. I know Scott Eastwood wants to play Wolverine, and when I even heard that, even when I heard Scott Eastwood, listen, I don't want some pretty boy actor playing Wolverine. I just don't see it. Wolverine's got to be that rough around the edges kind of guy,
Have you seen pictures of Hugh Jackman when he first started playing Wolverine? He was on Broadway in a play called Oklahoma, playing a farm boy. You couldn't get prettier looking.
Look what they could do with him. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying though, if he could pull off the facial hair and the gritty look, and you can do a lot with special effects too.
Zac Efron.
So I'm just saying you got to get an actor who is like, he can't be too young. He can't be in his mid-20s.
No.
You can't pull off that character. You got to have an elite, and it works even better if it's an actor. He's been acting since he's 14. So through his experiences as being an actor for 20 years, he'll be able to put that kind of skill into being a guy who's been around for almost 200 years. Like I said, you'd be surprised. Who knows? I just don't want them to hire a pretty boy who doesn't really know how to act.
But you're picking Zac Efron.
But he's been in good movies, and he can pull off the movie. It's if he can act it properly. But physically, if you see like that show, who's in that Baywatch movie there with The Rock, I'm saying physically he can do it. I don't know if he can act it. But Scott Eastwood has the look of Wolverine, and that's why I want him to do it. You never know.
You never know.
Don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm not. I just find it funny. You got to laugh at this show.
Yeah. But you never know. You never know who they're going to pick. Because like I never liked up until the last couple movies, I never liked in the first couple X-Men, I did not like Ian McKellen as Magneto. It's like Magneto's supposed to be this guy who's in his 50s and he's buff and he's strong, and Ian McKellen comes in looking like Gandalf's sickly little brother. He's like this skinny little old guy. I'm like, no. Like this doesn't work.
I didn't mind. I don't know. Yeah. I did mind too much Ian McKellen, but whatever. Before we wrap up, any other thoughts you have on this whole? I'm gonna
get so much hate on my Zac Efron choice. I can just see all the comments now. No,
so many people commenting like, Zac Efron, what are you thinking?
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see, because now that they own all the properties, and like we were saying off air, they own now FX TV, which did like Sons of Anarchy and Black Sails. Basically, they own Super Channel. So they're going to look at their shows and be like, okay, well, do you want to do New Mutants? Like, even though they said they're going to come with the movie, if the movie does okay or maybe not as great, they say, okay, well, maybe New Mutants will be better as a TV show. And we can put the proper money in production like their Netflix shows. But with FX, it's like Netflix, but it can be pretty graphic and it can be very vulgar language or whatever. So if they want to go very dark with New Mutants, they could go that route. It'll be interesting to see, because they have all these different avenues now. They don't have to put it just on Netflix or ABC, which they also own. That's where The Gifted's on.
Yeah.
So
I haven't watched that show yet. I don't know if is it any good. I haven't watched
I've only watched like 2 episodes, and again, it's characters. It's like Polaris and a couple of the characters I'm not too like Thunderbird's on there. It's characters I'm not too familiar with, but it's getting good reviews. It seems to be doing well. So, who knows?
Worth a gander, I guess.
Maybe we'll get Deadpool Wolverine.
That could be cool too. That anything with Deadpool thrown in the mix is obviously going to be somewhat of a comedy.
And you're a Venom fan.
I am.
So DC now owns that movie, because that's a property of Fox. So who knows? Tom Hardy might get some good actors in that movie now.
Hey, just be careful with that knife over there. Don't stab me all the way in Canada over there, right? Well, Chad, I really want to thank you for being on the show today. When it comes to any topics such as these, I feel like you're the perfect guy to bring on Superpower Review. So thank you for being on.
Thank you.
So that's going to wrap it up for today's episode.
Your boss is making fun of my Zac Efron still, isn't he? I can hear him.
Zac Efron. Marvel, I know we always say listen to us, but at this case, do not listen to Chad. So, what do you think about this huge deal that's going on, and are you excited about all the possibilities that Marvel has now with movies and all of these characters? So that's going to wrap it up with today's show. If you would like to leave some feedback, leave it in the comment section below. Or you can also email the show at superpowerreview9@gmail.com. That's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon.